Hi, Eric Linask here at ITEXPO in Miami. In the studio with me today from Yorktel is Vishal Brown. Vishal, good to see you.
Good to meet you, Eric. How you doing?
Doing well, thank you very much. So I guess congratulations are in order. Saw this morning an announcement you were a recipient of a Frost & Sullivan Award.
That's right. So we won the award for product line strategy, a leader in that space. And basically what that means is, as you look at the industry, there are a lot of incumbents in the industry like your Cisco's and your Polycoms. But there are a lot of new entrants as well. So when you look at the Econos and the PACSIPs, what the award is basically saying is when you look at a service provider's agility to respond to changes in the marketplace, we're able to do that. So when you look at our cloud services or managed services or consulting services, we're able to be flexible enough to accommodate those market changes and provide that service back to our customer.
What enables that flexibility for you?
So, for example, within our cloud service, right, we have it's a best-of-breed solution. We'll take product sets from the Cisco's and the Polycoms, but also the Econos and the VidYO, for example, and create a product that meets the use case or requirements of a customer. So it's not one specific product that enables us to do that. And I think because we have designed our cloud in that fashion, it allows us to be agile within the industry and respond to most, if not all, customer requirements.
Something else that you've recently achieved, I was going to say accomplished, it is an accomplishment, but achieved is recent ISO certification. How important is that for the company?
It is. I mean, most of our customers today are in the Fortune 500 companies.
Yeah.
And when you look at the profile of these customers, take for example within the federal space, a lot of highly secure environments that we work with. When you look at the enterprise space, a lot of pharmaceutical companies, a lot of banking, financial services, healthcare providers, they have specific requirements when it comes to security and compliance. They can rest assured that when they work with our managed services, or VNOC, or 24/7, 365 VNOC, that they are following ISO 27001 best practices. At the end of last year in December, we achieved that certification. Good.
So really, the certification is something that is going to help you continue to grow your enterprise client base.
That's right. It allows our existing customers to have that confidence in what we do and trust us in what we do. But it also allows future customers to know that when they are looking at our service portfolio, we have that certification sitting behind us. And that's not a one-time certification that you achieve and then you're ISO certified. It's something that you put into the practice and daily operations of what we do and how we work. So we're continually having to renew that certification to make sure we remain in compliance with the ISO certification.
Good. Very, very good. You had mentioned to me that there's a specific use case or customer that you wanted to go over a little bit.
Yes, I mean, we just came out with today announced a case study, and that's a customer that we dealt with out in the Midwest, and they're in the healthcare space. They operate quite a few large hospitals in the Midwest, and they are very far apart, 3-4 hours drive apart. The challenge that they were dealing with was, they've deployed video technologies, VIDYO, as part of their telemedicine, telehealth solution. It resides on their telehealth carts. In their conference rooms, they had Polycom solutions. In their corporate workspace, they used Microsoft Lync. None of these collaboration platforms were integrated. So if the doctors wanted to talk to the administrative staff, that was not happening. Professional services was engaged, and we looked at their use cases, looked at their workflows, and provided them a roadmap to integrate these different collaboration technologies. So the case study is based on what we did for that healthcare service provider.
Now, you mentioned Lync integration. That's something relatively new for you.
Lync, we have been involved with Lync, but 9 out of 10 conversations we've seen in 2014. And as we get into 2015, have been on Link, and it will continue to be more and more on Link. So where we're getting involved, I mean, as we sit at customer conversations, they're trying to understand where does Link sit in terms of the entire UC strategy. So we're being asked to provide UC roadmaps for our customers. Tell us how Link integrates into the Polycom products, into Cisco products, into the new entrants like I mentioned, VidWio or Acano. So we're working with customers to develop 1 to 3 year roadmaps into how you would integrate Link and create voice video collaboration solutions as part of their productivity.
How much of your conversations with customers revolves around integration into broader UC platforms as opposed to just having to deal with or integrate or replace or what have you, just video?
A lot of conversations today have widened, right? I mean, historically, and that's not just Yorktel, but within the industry, if you're doing AV integration or you're doing conferencing, it was really bucketized into those 2 products.
Okay.
But as you got into the wider UC landscape, we're having to play more in terms of how do you extend the conference room into video mobility, extending the workplace, and that's where our cloud products come into play. So people are able to connect from anywhere, anytime, any place, right? So that's our cloud service. Looking at Link Voice and Link Telephony. When someone wants to join a conference, for example, they may be using Link or they may not, right? They may be joining on the Link PBX or they may join from the PSTN. How do you converge these different communication forms into a single solution set? So that's where we come in. We've had to widen our approach in the way we make recommendations and take into account not just video, but voice, IM, presence, and all the collaboration applications that reside within the UC stack.
And then let me another thing you mentioned when you referenced the case study a moment ago is it's a healthcare customer. What's going on? How big is the telehealth or telemedicine space?
That's a very big push for us for 2014. Our CEO Ron Gabery wanted that to be a big effort for us going into 2014 and obviously going into 2015. We've hired someone who has extensive experience in the telemedicine space, Pete McLean. He's the Vice President of Telemedicine for Yorktel, heading up that practice. So what you'll see going into 2015 is us taking our best practices around video managed services, understanding how secure VNOCs work from the federal space, right? Understanding how specific compliance requirements are needed for banking, for example. How do you take those best practices and apply it to telemedicine? Understanding that there's a big difference between, if a conference goes down and the SLA for that is, you can have a chat with your IT manager if something happens. But when it's a life and death situation in the telemedicine space, that takes your SLAs and our guarantee of service to another level.
Sure.
So those are the kinds of conversations we're having. That's the kind of quality of service and reliability of service that we have to make sure that we have in our VNOC.
Excellent. Well, it certainly sounds like it's an exciting period to be at Yorktel.
It does, and great being here.
Excellent. Vishal, thanks for being on the program. Great to chat.
Thanks, Eric.